There's a doll sitting in front of the door. The doll looks exactly like him, wearing exactly what he's wearing. So he's like, there's got to be some kind of sick joke. Like, who thinks
Voodoo dolls, puppets, effigies, what are they? Who would play her? Well, I got the perfect...
You use voodoo dolls. Voodoo dolls become the person that you want them to be. Either you use a female version of a doll or you use a male version of a doll and you pretend to be the person who you want.
Could have been a scheme that Todd set up for him to come to you with the bush.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Huh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all pay. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just
submitted the story, the story is really from their grandma's hometown. So in DR, the hometown that they're from is called San Felipe. That's where her whole family's from. Anyway, back in the day in that town, there was a lady that was known for voodoo. People, like everybody, feared her and stayed out her way because they know not to mess with her. This was like a known thing. Like the kids wouldn't even play close to her house, none of that. So anyway, one day, one of the family members that lived around like the town, they were having somebody coming from the States to DR to visit them for like, I think it was like 2 weeks. Yeah, it was 2 weeks. I don't know why Miguel didn't get, that's the person that visited, that's the family member. His name's Miguel. Miguel, like nobody told him about the lady. And I feel like it's because they felt like they shouldn't have told him. At the same time, like, give him a heads up. Anyways, Miguel was born here in the States. So he didn't really know, like he knew about his culture. He spoke Spanish, of course, but he didn't know how deep that it goes back like in your hometown. So one afternoon, Miguel decided that he's going to go take a walk. And so he does. And not knowing that that's that lady's house, he takes a walk and he walks past the lady. The lady happened to be sitting on her porch. And so he's walking past and the lady's just looking at him walk past. And for some reason that bothered Miguel. Miguel like looked back at her kind of like, what are you looking at? Miguel was on the phone too. I forgot to mention that part. So when he walked past and the lady was looking at him and all of this happened while he's on the phone. And so when Miguel looks at him with the look like, what you looking at? He says on the phone like, yeah, some old lady just keeps staring at me. And he says it in English. Now, you know, like if you visit out there and you know your language, try to avoid English as much as possible for your safety. But Miguel didn't do that. So the lady's like, ah, okay, you're one of them spoiled little kids from the States. Bet, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. That's all it took. It only took Miguel to give a look and say, who she thinks you're talking to? And who she thinks you're looking at. You know, you get it. Everything's fine. Miguel goes home. He goes to sleep. He wakes up in the morning and he wants to go outside. And the moment he opens the front door, he sees a doll. There's a doll sitting in front of the door. The doll looks exactly like him, wearing exactly what he's wearing. So he's like, there's got to be some kind of sick joke. Like, who think they funny? And he grabs the doll. He goes around to his family members like, who did this? Who did this? And the entire family's like, nobody did that. Like, why would we be like, no, we didn't do this. And so he goes to his grandma like, they're playing a game with me and they don't want to tell me that they're playing a game with me. And when grandma saw the doll, grandma was like, where did you get that? He's like, yeah, it was at the front door. Grandma's like, he looks exactly like you. He's like, yeah, I know, I get it. That's the joke. Grandma's like, this is not a joke. Drop that thing right now. And she slaps it out of his hand. Grandma instantly starts interrogating him. Who did you speak to? Did you speak to anybody? Because, again, grandmas be knowing. He almost even forgot about it, but he remembered and he told grandma about the lady. And the grandma started asking him, was the lady wearing this? Is she this? Are these her facial features? To figure out if that was the lady that was known in the town. And he's like confirming everything. And grandma's like, oh my God. Like, what did you say to her? He's like, I didn't say anything to her. I just like was wondering why she was looking at me because she kept staring at me. And instantly, grandma knew. So grandma immediately went and got help, got some of the family members together to tell them what happened. Everybody's like, oh shit, like why? You don't know the custom around here and you come here walking around asking people why are they staring at you, like giving people attitude. So everybody got on his ass about it. And now he's scared. He's terrified because he didn't know it went this deep. As the day is going past and everybody's talking about it and they trying to figure out a way, like they're trying to figure out if they need to go to her, but nobody wants to go to her because they're that scared of her. They start to notice that Miguel's skin is starting to turn gray. The more his skin started turning gray, the more his breath started being short. And that's when they realized, like, oh, we probably don't have no time. We need to do something now. One of the family members calls up his pastor. His pastor comes over to pray on him because at this point, like, he's starting to get bad. And the pastor is praying and praying and praying, but nothing's happening. Like, he's not getting better. At this point, he's really having trouble breathing. And so somebody says, like, we have to go over there and apologize on behalf of him and let her know that he's not from out here, so he doesn't know how it works. So they agree on that. They go over to the lady's house. They knock on her door. She comes out and they immediately start apologizing. And she's just staring at them the whole time. Like each and every one of them are apologizing. The boy's over there gray and can't breathe. And so once they're done, they're like, so are you going to forgive him? Like, the lady looks at them and was like, it's too late. And she closes her door and went back inside. They knew better not to stay. They knew they had to go. After she closes her door, get off her property. So they went back home. Pastor is still praying and praying and praying and praying. He prayed damn near all night. And then everybody decided to have a break and go to sleep. And they all surround him, you know, to make sure that he's okay. They didn't take him to the hospital because they know what was up. They knew the hospital wasn't going to be able to save him. And so in the morning, when everybody wakes up, Miguel is gone. He's gone. He has disappeared. No doors were open. No windows were open. He was just not on the bed anymore. Mind you, people surrounded him. They were next to him while they were sleeping. He's not there. But you know what was there? That same doll. That same doll that he found the first time was sitting right in the same spot that he was laying in. And y'all want to know the even crazier part? No one ever found Miguel ever again. No one dared to try to go question the lady about it because they don't want to end up like Miguel.
Voodoo dolls, puppets, effigies, what are they? Who would play her? Well, I got the perfect book for that, 'cause you know I read things. This is a history of magic, witchcraft, and the occult. Alright, now these are all the dolls. Ugh, they're giving me goosebumps. But as you can see, there are many different types from many a different culture. Now, the cornhusk doll originates from the Native Americans, my culture, because you know I'm 1/16th Cherokee on my mailman side. During the Victorian era, it was believed to protect your home and livestock. Now, this is a voodoo doll used as an effigy of a person. Now, this is a doll from the Sioux natives. Looks like a cloth puppet. Was used as a toy, brought a good harvest, and also a guide to the spirit world. Now, this is a European corn doll. Look, it's braided. It was used as a home for the spirit of the grain after a harvest. Isn't that nice, like a little spirit birdhouse? Now, that's an African fetish doll. You'd hammer nails into it to bring punishment to a guilty party. But this is a witch's effigy. Looks very much like a voodoo doll, and they were used in the same ways. And it's kind of spooky looking. But anyways, there's a little history lesson for you.
This is real.
Voodoo dolls, the power of the voodoo dolls. I know you're saying, wait, I know. What am I going to do with a doll? How do I use voodoo dolls? Voodoo dolls become the person that you want them to be. Either you use a female version of a doll or you use a male version of a doll and you pretend to be the person who you want it to be. Never call a doll a doll. Call the doll the person that you want the doll to become. Whether you want to help them for a ritual or whatever it is that you want to do, that's up to you. You can get these dolls at the dollar store. You can get them anywhere, so it doesn't have to look exactly like a voodoo doll. It could be any doll that you can use to represent the person that you want to do work on, whether it's for a love spell or whether you want to help somebody, one of your children, or want to do to help them enhance in school, or you want to help them with their behavior. You got to do a cleansing. You can use dolls. Dolls are used for many different reasons. So go ahead and get your voodoo dolls and go ahead and see what type of work you are going to do and who that doll is going to become.
About to do some self-love work.
With all my heart, I love you, baby. Stay with me,
Charging the doll.
and you will see my arms will hold you, baby. Never leave, 'cause I believe I'm in love, sweet love. Hear me calling out your name. I feel no shame. I'm in love, sweet love. Don't you ever go away. It'll always be this way.
Was that cinnamon or powder? But
We also have to think about the framework in which we live and why there is such a negative connotation given to anything black. Voodoo is black. It's African. So, our media obviously is not run by black people. Now, you have a lot of movies and, this and that has portrayed voodoo in a certain way, but I would encourage us to reframe or rethink that framework, because who is evil here? Who is doing mass genocide of people, raping people, human trafficking, violence, abuse, sexual abuse, all the above? And this lady over here is from here, and she knows how to protect herself from malevolent energies, and then something bad happened to you. So who's bad? Is she wrong for protecting herself? We got to rethink that, y'all. Just a little food for thought.
My guess would be that you've seen one of these dolls before, a voodoo doll, used to curse someone by sticking pins and needles into it. But did you know these are not actually part of the voodoo religions? So voodoo is a religion that originated in Haiti, and it has absolutely nothing to do with voodoo dolls. Voodoo practitioners do use dolls for healing, protection and communication with the spirits, not for harming others. But the use of dolls or effigies in magic goes back to ancient times, when ancient Greeks used to use them to bind or curse their enemies, lovers or rivals. And then in Europe we have puppets, and these were dolls that were used by witches and other cunning folk in the medieval period. Puppets are made up from different materials such as clay, waxcloth, wood, that kind of thing, and they were stuffed full with herbs, stones, hair, nails or other personal items of their target. And puppets can be used for good or evil, depending on the intention and skill of the practitioner. They can also be used as a form of protective magic by hiding them in chimneys, walls or roofs to ward off evil spirits or bad luck. Puppets can also be used as a spirit bridge, a way to communicate or connect with the divine, the ancestors or the spirits of nature. And they can be used for divination by observing how they react to certain stimuli or questions. Puppet is a word that comes from Middle English, meaning a small child or a doll. We still use it now sometimes. Oh, my little puppet. It's like sweetie or dear. And puppets are also known as moppets, momettes, pippies, all sorts of names. And in Germany, there is a tradition of the kitchen witch, which is a puppet that's hung up in the kitchen to bring good luck and prevent kitchen disasters. That's the one I think I probably need. If you would like more information on voodoo and puppet dolls, you can listen in to our latest podcast episode, The Whispering Woods.
Good morning, everyone. It's me, Mambo Dad, and I want to talk to you about voodoo dolls. Dolls, period, in Haiti. So we're going to have a little bit of a story time. When I lived in Taba, I lived close, like by the American Embassy in Taba, and I had a little boutique there. And right up the street was a Kingdom Hall. And they would come around in a group, and they would just want to talk to you for, like, I don't know, for no reason. They just want to talk to people, you know. They like to walk around and talk to people. And so I made the mistake of having like extra chairs in there for people to sit down. But the one lady, and it was a group. It was a lady and two men. They came in. And, you know, I'm not going to just straight say, okay, I'm a voodooist, but they know. They know. Because I had a little tea chair in there. And a tea chair is what the loa sit, where they sit when they come. You understand? A lot of the time. But people use them to, like, just do regular work, sit in them, whatever. But I had two dolls sitting there. Beautiful dolls. And the lady said to me, why, she posed a question. She asked me why I have those dolls. For what reason do I have them? And I said, because I like them. And she said to me that dolls are made in the image of people, made in the image of human beings, and that they don't allow their children to play with dolls. And I found that kind of odd. And she said to me, but remember, I'm from Delaware, where even like I've seen Amish dolls that don't have any face on it. And I guess that's so that they don't have the image of a human being. But she said to me that I need to be careful because I'm making a place for any spirit that's wandering to come and have a place to live, to be. You understand? And she said to me, oh, these dolls, mind you, I think one of them was a boy Cabbage Patch, like from the 80s. And I just love this doll so much. Just a regular Cabbage Patch. And the other one was, the face was kind of porcelain, but it had on like a tropical dress and a head wrap. Just innocent to me. And I still have a picture of those. Just innocent, though. And she went on about it. How they don't allow their children to play with dolls. How I'm inviting certain spirits to come and reside in those dolls. Certain spirits that are just wandering. When they're looking for a place, they're going to go in those dolls. And I'm going to tell you, you can't hide from those people at the Kingdom Hall in Haiti because they speak every language. Okay? They speak every language. But she said a lot of things about dolls that made sense, and it really connected a lot of things spiritually. It connected a lot of things spiritually. Am I afraid of dolls? No. No way. I do believe that they can absorb energy, that they can carry certain energy. I'm always cleansing my home. Any place that I have, I'm always cleansing it on a daily. Incense. When I tell people, wait for me, I'm going to call you, I got to clear the air. And after I talk to people, I clear the air. Because some people, you know, they have their situation may be heavy. So I'm constantly cleansing spiritually. But I do understand why some people are afraid of dolls. And you know, at the Super Bowl game, that lady there with the little doll from New Orleans, somebody made a comment. I should have posted it here. They said, I don't even think she knows what she's doing. And I was wondering, do people really understand the concept, the meaning behind dolls, period? Not just quote unquote voodoo dolls, but dolls, period. Do they really understand it when she's sitting there poking? Oh goodness, sometimes I go back and watch that video just for a laugh. Just for a laugh. I'm on board with that.
So you only see the person thinking negative about you, but you don't know how many of his ancestors behind that person, while she's thinking negative about you, how many ancestors that's willing to put that energy together against you from the doll that they created. And this is where your misery starts. So now that person, every single night, he's taking a pin and he poured that pin inside of you and he said, I want your heart to stop. Now pay attention now. You might think, okay, it's just Hollywood, but this person is guiding attention against you, bruh. So the intention is he take a pin and stick this shit to your heart and he said, I want you to have a heart attack. But guess what? That shit never happens to you yet. But this person spent a year, never stopped doing this shit. I guarantee you the universe gonna connect, my friend. A person spent a whole year every night taking a pin and stick it to your chest because he materialized you. He created the doll within the thought of creating you to her world. So you don't think one day you're gonna end up eating something that's gonna give life to that reality that she created? And that's something you eating gonna turn to what? A freaking heart attack. Because she's connecting to the universe every night against you. So she's putting what? She's putting data to the universe. Every night she's stabbing you on that little doll. Every night she do the same, so the universe is collecting data. While you out there not knowing, she's building in what code? She's putting code to the universal plane. So one day, one of these codes gonna connect, my friend. And when it connect, you gonna end up eating something that match the code that she been doing every night, stabbing that goddamn doll, and one day your shit gonna stop on you. And you think it's a joke? No, it's not a joke, bruh. It's not a joke. That's why I'm telling people, be careful of who you deal with, and be careful with other people. Don't cross people because you think you have more money than them. Don't disrespect people because you think you have a better position than them. And just be respectful. That's why in Haitian voodoo and voodoo, and they always told you, the biggest weapon you have against all form of magic is be respectful. Babat called fairy sport, self-respect. Okay? But we living in a world, people think just because they have clout, they have money, they have status, you just...
One of the biggest misconceptions is that voodoo is evil, that we worship the devil. There's no devil or evil in voodoo. Voodoo just is. There's no black and white magic in voodoo either. The belief that voodoo is evil and voodoo is dark comes from the fact that voodoo is black. My family and I, we are from the Dominican Republic. Voodoo, it was just always part of my family. That's the thing with voodoo. If it's in your family and it hasn't been so far removed through generations, it'll still show up in some shape or form. Voodoo comes from West Africa. My lineage of voodoo is Haitian voodoo. It's a voodoo that was brought from Africa to the island of Haiti, and it became its own thing. Voodoo is family, voodoo is roots, voodoo is food, it's music, voodoo is prayer, it's song, dance, voodoo is worship, it's nature, it's knowing that everything around you is connected to you.
Let's talk about something called a voodoo doll, okay? So as we all know, there's a common belief surrounding voodoo dolls being able to harm people, being able to curse people, just doing all kinds of horrible things to people, right? However, all of that negativity is actually a common misconception, as voodoo dolls were not meant to initially be evil. Voodoo dolls just like this actually originate from a religion called Vodou. Vodou is practiced in Haiti and other Caribbean islands. These voodoo dolls were initially used to help channel spirits in order to get in contact with loved ones. They were even used as good luck charms to help people succeed. Y'all see this right here? How he searched up how to make a voodoo doll, he made the voodoo doll, and then he gave it a back massage? Yeah, this is literally what the intention is. To help yourself do better. That's it. Just like this, baby girl. This is the intention. That is it. There's no evil here, okay? Here's another post talking about how voodoo dolls are actually used to help bless people and not curse them. All that truly matters whenever you are making a voodoo doll of yourself or whatever the case may be is that you're using your good intentions. These good intentions is ultimately what's going to get you to where you want to be, given you want to give yourself a good luck charm, you know? Here's a little post talking about the different colors that you can use while making a voodoo doll and what they signify. So let's say you want to make yourself a good luck charm contributing to you receiving more money. You're going to use the color green, as using this color is what's going to bring in more money. Now let's say you want to raise your vibrations to do better. There you go. Use pink as it attracts good and positive vibrations. Now making a voodoo doll is a close practice, so if you do practice Vodou, go ahead and feel free to do it. Make sure to have your best interest at heart whenever you are making your voodoo doll, okay? That's it, baby girl.
Now, this might come as a surprise, but I know a lot of parents, especially mothers, who have basically created a voodoo doll for their child so they can have like a childhood doll type stuff. You know how you have a favorite blanket, a favorite doll that you just cannot detach from? Not necessarily because the mom have put a voodoo spell on the doll. It simply is there to protect the child, to be like a guardian angel and or a protective guardian for that said child, you know. And a lot of those people are just doing that as a protective thing for their kid. It doesn't mean that, you know, they're trying to give them a voodoo doll to whatever, right? But I know a lot of parents who do this, and a lot of time it doesn't look like a voodoo doll. It's simply a regular doll that has been charged and, you know, blessed to do a certain work. And I say all that to say this: a lot of times you don't necessarily have to have a voodoo doll or a doll that looks like a voodoo, as long as like a voodoo tools, as long as is a representation of that person and it knows what work to do, what it needs to do, is going to do the work. So when it comes to stuff like that, it doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, this is a voodoo doll or it looks like a voodoo doll. Just like you could be with a partner, with a guy even, and this guy has a voodoo doll of you. And you don't even know this. You go into their house, you comb in your hair is falling on the floor, you're using a bar soap, you know, you're drinking water, you're having intimate situations with them, and you leave, and before you know it, you can't leave that man. Why? Maybe he has a voodoo doll of you somewhere, you know, in the house, and it might not even look like a voodoo doll. You probably done picked it up and said, oh, what a cute doll. You know, because if they have children, it's very easy to hide that. And or if you know, they might have a collection of dolls that you don't even know about, and it could be one of every girl that they've been with. You know. Oh, that was thunder. I just saw lightning, but I heard the thunder. It sounds so far away that I didn't know what it was. I thought something in my closet fell. But anyways. Yeah, so don't think it's just women out here doing, you know, having voodoo dolls of their male partners. No, a lot of times male could do the same thing. Because look, I have a store where I sell metaphysical things, like spiritual stuff, especially like Haitian spiritual things, right? Well, they all the same, but we get them from like Haiti and stuff, right? And a lot of the men that come in there, they come to buy things to actually do witchcraft on girls. And it's more popular in the male community than it is in the female, although there's a lot of female that comes and buy things to do spell works too. But a lot of the males, they do a lot of love work, and they will come in and get a doll so they can go and do some work. I'm telling you, it's very prominent in the men, in the masculine community. Okay, so don't ever think that it's only women out here doing spells, because when you work in a metaphysical store, you see it so much that you start to believe it, and you know it's true. Because
if y'all think Annabelle is bad, then y'all must never heard of Robert the Doll. Now let's talk about it. Now, Robert the Doll is this famous haunted doll that resides in a museum in Key West, Florida. He is known for his supposed supernatural powers and is allegedly cursed. Now, the doll is believed to have been given to a boy named Robert Eugene Otto by his servant. And the doll was a one-of-a-kind handmade doll, and like I said, the servant had given it to him. Now, rumor has it that the parents treated the servant badly and, that she cursed the doll. While he seemed like an ordinary doll at first, it wasn't long before Robert actually started experiencing some crazy stuff with his doll. Like one night, Robert was 10 years old, or they called him Gene. The boy was sleeping, and he basically woke up and this doll was sitting at the edge of his bed staring at him. And before he knew it, he was I'm talking about everything in the room was just flying around. He was screaming. His parents came, upstairs trying to get in. The doors was locked. They couldn't even get in. Robert don't seal the doors off. They hearing all this furniture moving. And when they finally got in, all he could do was say Robert did it. He was curled up in the ball, shaking and saying Robert did it, which soon later became a pattern. He was always saying that Robert did things. His parents would literally hear him upstairs talking to someone, having full-blown conversations, and they would hear responses in different voices. They often would hear different giggling and devil noises and just really creepy things and furniture moving around. So eventually when his parents passed away, Robert moved out, and then he moved back in with his wife, Ann. And Ann never wanted to touch the doll. So basically, Robert, the actual owner, or Eugene, because that was his nickname, that he was like, you know what, Robert got to have his own room. So they gave him his own room, and one day he was in the attic, but they did not put him because neighbors was reporting that this doll was literally staring out the window, laughing and mocking the little kids that would be walking to school. So that's when Robert was like, you know what, that tears it. You need to stop mocking these little kids. You need to stop doing all this stuff. And it just was crazy. Like I said, the wife would hear all kinds of devil laughter and all that. And like I said, Robert was in a whole nother room that they put him in. So now he's at this museum in, like I said, Key West, Florida, and they still say that Robert don't play. If you take pictures of him and you disrespect him or laugh or anything or look at him a certain way, he don't play. There's been reports of all type of crazy, creepy stuff that has happened at this museum that Robert is at. But one thing about it, you would not catch me there. But yeah, he's in his little contained box with, I'm assuming, scriptures and, with the word of God. And, people be apologizing for looking into his eyes and stuff like that. So I already know y'all finna flood the comments with that. Let me know if y'all would ever visit Robert the doll and if y'all believe that he was cursed by voodoo, because that's what people believe, that the maid or the servant that worked in the house cursed this doll in revenge of the parents treating her like crap. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Madam to the AKA China doll, I'm coming here this morning on a serious topic, all right? The topic is pertaining to the lady from South Carolina that went down on a voodoo retreat, claiming that it was something that she was called to do, okay? I just gotta get quiet because I don't even think y'all even realize how powerful that voodoo crap is, okay? Okay, let me not say, because it ain't voodoo crap. I apologize. My apologies. It's not crap. But the voodoo, okay? Haitians were enslaved. And when they were enslaved, they created a language called Creole, which is broken French. It's not French, but it's broken French. And they created this language so their slave masters wouldn't know what they were saying. And voodoo also originated from Haiti. They used the voodoo to help them from freedom from being enslaved by their slave masters. So I don't think y'all even realize how deep we going. Okay, you talking about somebody that sits up there and research. See, when it come to other cultures and stuff, I am very enlightened. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I just want to know. I have to know. So I say all this to say this. I used to work at a nursing home with a bunch of Haitians, and I'll never forget this one specific time. The girls, they started chanting, they was going in chanting. I came up in the break room, they started chanting all the way until I walked out. They was still chanting, and I know they was up there doing some type of voodoo or whatever they was doing. So from that day, I started teaching myself Creole. I don't know, like enough to have a conversation, but I know a lot of words. Moi, parler, New York. I'm going to New York. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Shita, sit down. Como uye. I can go on and on, but anyway, I say all this to say this, that voodoo, which is considered black magic, they call it black magic. They're calling up ancestors from in the past. Okay, and I don't know if y'all actually seen an actual voodoo session. You can go on YouTube and look at the sessions. I mean, you know, they you know, their voodoo, you know, ceremony that they have. This stuff is serious. I'm the type of person, I feel energies. You know, I feel people. And I must say, like, when I was watching it, the energy was so dark, I had to cut the video off. I remember the guy got into one of the spirits and he was eating glass. Okay? I remember this one lady, they call her the voodoo priest or the voodoo queen. You could look her up on YouTube. She had about 5 different cigarettes in her mouth. You get what I'm saying? And then she was just talking all types of crazy and stuff. Now, they claim it's good, but I don't see no good from it. They say they got bad black magic and then they got good black magic. Okay? I'm just trying to give y'all a little bit of history so y'all can, you know, try to understand a little bit more about how serious this was when this lady took her American behind over there to Haiti, okay, which is a dictatorship country. Their own president was, I think, murdered or whatever happened. You get what I'm saying? Like, that country is evil, okay? The fact that they practice what they practice there no. She should have never went there. You got Haitians that, you know, come to America and they get up out of, you know, being in Haiti, which is considered one of the poorest countries in the world, okay? They, once they come out of, you know, Haiti or whatever, they can't even go back half the time. And the reason why they can't go back sometimes to Haiti is because of the jealousy and envy that people that are already there have of the fact that they made it out. See, that's what they don't sit up there and tell you. See, I'm very nosy. I even asked one of these Haitian lady, I said, did voodoo originate from Haiti? She looked at me with like 7 eyes and sucked her teeth and got an attitude and said what I'm talking about. Like, I could have pulled the fact up right to her on Google and said, boom, this is what I'm talking about. But I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to play stupid like she was playing stupid. Sometimes when you play stupid, you learn a lot of shit. But anyway, I say all this to say this. That lady should have never took her behind over there. Okay? Sitting up there talking about she had some type of calling and people is, you know, calling her or whatever. And, no. It was a dub, okay? They know 9 times out of 10, them Haitian people that were over there, okay? Because they very evil towards Americans. Very. When I mean to tell you very, very, very. Not all of them, but some of them, okay? Because they're envying you of the fact that you got to live this lifestyle and they came from wherever the hell they came from, okay? So it's like envy and some jealousy type crap. You get what I'm saying? I'm being so honest. I even had this one Haitian guy. He didn't realize that I had crochet hair in my head. He called himself trying to take a sample of my hair. I'll never freaking forget this in all the days of my life. Came right up to me and was like, oh, your hair is so pretty. And I felt when he pulled it. You get what I'm saying? But I ain't say nothing. I just went home and I started praying. See, that's the thing that, you know, certain people like them Haitians that I work with didn't know that I'm a woman that prays a lot. You get what I'm saying? I'm of God. So to say all this, and I'm very knowledgeable and very wise, and I got a lot of wisdom and knowledge. And I was already educating myself about these people while I was working around them. Because I said something ain't right, something is off. You get what I'm saying? Started going home, watching voodoo ceremonies, and I mean going in. I even follow this lady named Marie. She Haitian. She got deported from America back to Haiti, and she can never come back to America. And remind you, when she went over there, she didn't even know She ain't even know French and all that. She had to learn all of that being over there. But I say all this to say this, and I'm not trying to get off subject. I say all this to say this. R.I.P. to that lady that went over there from South Carolina to Haiti, calling her, talking about that, you know, she was called over there on some type of voodoo retreat. No, she should have never went over there. Black magic is evil, okay? And I may have some Haitians that may want to comment and come at me on this video, but I don't care, okay? I'm 7 steps ahead of y'all. I already, I got one right now that work at my job. She don't even know that I know she practiced voodoo. Anytime you see somebody with like really dark eyes or dark circles under their eyes or them raccoon looking eyes, 9 times out of 10, the person has a problem with their colon or they're into voodoo. Okay? Listen to what I'm saying, yo. That voodoo, aka slash black magic, is nothing to be played with. Okay? Now it's up to y'all if y'all want to take the time to look at some of the videos on YouTube about it, but she should have never went over there. Them people are not for Americans, okay? They went over there and set her up. They had the plan in action before she even left America. You get what I'm saying? Yes. I don't even think she was realized what she was dealing with when she went over there. That country, I'm telling you, off. They don't even have sanitation over there. Like, I'm being so like, yo, something ain't right. She should have never went over there. So I say all this to say this, y'all. Beware of people that are into voodoo. People that study black magic. I tell you to keep yourself very distant. You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Just like they being phony, be phony with them, but at the same time be aware. You get what I'm saying? Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for watching my video. And bonsoir. Goodbye.
Dolls became linked with the magical practices in voodoo during the first half of the 20th century when Western pop culture began depicting them in voodoo ceremony scenes and early movies. They have continued to be made popular in films as a tool of revenge, but that's not how voodoo dolls are usually used in real life practices. You can use voodoo dolls for love, healing, empowerment, guidance, fertility, as well as the usual depiction of cursing and revenge depending on the color pen you use in the doll. The doll is meant to represent the spirit of a particular person, and in order to communicate with that person's spirit using the doll, you need a token of that person, such as a piece of clothing, hair, or something associated with that individual. You can use the doll during prayers, spells, or during meditation routines to aid in the goal you're trying to achieve. Many times, candles, anointing oils, and herbs can be used in rituals to increase the power of the doll. The doll itself can be made from a picture of the individual, yarn, string, fabric, or even bought from somewhere, but you must clear the previous energy with the doll before using it. Strangers, have you ever tried using a voodoo doll before?
How to create a voodoo doll with activation spell. Hello again. A voodoo doll is a symbolic representation of a person, used for focusing intent in spells or rituals. Here's how to make one and activate it. Materials needed: fabric, felt, or cloth, in your desired color. Thread and needle. Cotton, moss, or stuffing material. Scissors. A personal item of the target, hair, photo, handwriting, or small token. Pins or small objects to attach, optional, for intent focus. Steps to create the doll. 1. Draw and cut the shape. Draw a basic human figure on the fabric and cut out 2 identical pieces. 2. Sew and stuff. Sew the edges of the 2 pieces together, leaving a small opening. Fill it with stuffing material and, if possible, a personal item of the target. Stitch it closed. 3. Personalize the doll. Add details like a face, initials, or clothing to better connect the doll to the intended person. Activation spell. To activate the voodoo doll, place it on an altar or sacred space. Light a candle and say, "With this flame, I bring you life." A vessel bound by thread and knife. Connected now, as I decree. Your essence flows into thee. Hold the doll and visualize the energy of the target flowing into it. Seal the connection by tying a red thread around the doll's neck or waist while chanting, "By my will, so mote it be." Your spirit binds this effigy. The doll is now active. Use it responsibly and with intent, remembering that energy sent out often returns threefold.
So I have some information in my notes that I will be referring to in a little bit, but let's talk about dolls, voodoo dolls, and or puppets. So dolls have been used for many of generations in African spirituality, voodoo, obia, whatever the case may be, right? So a lot of people have been using dolls to basically be linked to someone else and or to themselves. So when it comes to dolls, there are different ways to use dolls. Now, I do not claim to be a professional in this information, but I have read a whole lot. So the information that I am bringing to you is things that I have read and or do my research on. So when it comes to dolls, there are many of ways that you could use a doll. So for example, you can link a doll to someone else and or to yourself. So for example, you can take a sheet of paper, cloth and or sponges and everything, and or you could use content that is linked to the person or to yourself. So for example, if someone is, someone comes to your house, right, and you want to link them to a doll so you can have control over them. I wouldn't recommend having control over someone else, taking somebody's free will, but if, for example, you don't have any ways of taking anything that is linked to that person, like their hair or nails, fluid from their body, or whatever the case may be, if they come to your house, they use a cup, you can take a piece of paper, wipe the cup where their mouth was, which then links their DNA to the piece of paper. Then you can put it inside a doll, and you can put all the crystals, all the herbs and everything that is connected to the work that you are trying to do for this said doll. So you can heal someone with the doll because you can set all the herbs and everything, putting the person's name, putting something that links to the person, like a DNA, like hair, nails, whatever, right, and to the doll. So you can link that person to the doll, and or you could take a picture of the person and link them to the doll. So there's multiple ways to do it, and also you could use a doll for prosperity. So you could if you're trying to do some prosperity work for yourself, you can create a personal doll that you give it a job, you give it a duty to do certain things for you by putting the right crystals, the right herbs, and saying the right incantations, and charging this said doll to become more of a live thing, right? Because you have to charge it, you have to feed it, you have to do all these things because now it is alive, right? In my opinion, or based on your beliefs. So if you believe anything different than what I'm saying, go ahead and put in the comment section. But these are things that I have learned or have seen, have experienced, or learned from, generation of studies and research. Not necessarily research, because the information that I have gathered are from people who it was just passed down from word of mouth, information from family, generational information, right? So if whatever culture you're in doesn't do it that way, doesn't mean what I'm saying is wrong. It simply means your culture does it differently, right? So let's talk about all the information that I have gathered when it comes to voodoo dolls. So it says origin of voodoo dolls. West African roots. The concept of spiritual dolls come from African traditions where dolls and figures were used to connect with ancestors, spirits, and deities. New World adaptations. When enslaved Africans were brought to the Caribbean and Louisiana, these practices blended with Catholicism and indigenous traditions. That fusion gave rise to Haitian voodoo in Louisiana. So remember how I told you about how a lot of the Haitians in Louisiana, that's why they speak Creole, or they talk about, remember the girl from Bad Girls Club, she used to say, oh, I'm Creole, because a lot of those people are actually Haitians. So anyways, Hollywood misrepresentation. Movies often make voodoo dolls look like tools or for stabbing entities. stabbing enemies. In reality, they're spiritual tools for healing, protection, love, justice, not just for cursing. This is very correct. This is very true. And just in the same breath doesn't mean that you cannot do something like that to somebody else. But of course, the process is a lot more, because you would have to physically make a doll of that person in order for you to do anything to that doll that will be transferred to that person, right? So, you know, yeah, you'll have to make a link to that person. You can't just stab a doll and say, oh, I'm stabbing my enemies, I'm doing this. And no, it doesn't work like that. You have to have a link to that person inside the doll. So types of voodoo dolls and their purpose. So there's a healing doll, like I said before, stuffed with herbs like rosemary, sage, and eucalyptus, used to transfer healing energy to a person, sometimes stuffed with the hair or personal items of the person. Can be prayed over daily, anoint with healing oils, and placing near a candle. So that is basically calling, you're feeding the doll. Excuse me. When you're doing that, you can do whiskey. You can blow whiskey over it. You can pass it over smoke, which is incense. You can pray over it. I know a lot of Christian people who actually have a doll linked to them, and they pray over that doll so they can heal their body, right? So yeah, it's not just a witchcraft thing, because I know a lot of people who don't do witchcraft and they don't believe that this is considered witchcraft, so they do it, but they call it something else, you know. So yeah. Anyways, love dolls, often dressed in red, pink, or white fabric. Herbs used: rose petals, cinnamon, and demiana. So actually, this is, you could actually use that in red candles, just rose petals, cinnamon, well, not cinnamon, demiana, to do some sort of stay, you know, come back to my bed type work. You know what I mean? At nighttime, so you can get someone to come back to your bed. Anyways, so it says used to attract new love, strengthen bonds, or reconciliation relationships. So in a relationship, you would do like if you want to, a love doll to keep you and your partner close. You can use both of you guys' pictures, something that links to both of you, so on and so forth. May be paired with offering to Ezuli Fuera, Haitian goddess of love. So I talk about Ezuli Fuera here all the time. Yeah, so a lot of times people will have beautiful dolls, and with Ezuli Fuera, her dolls are dripped down. I mean, beautiful jewelry. She is the goddess of beauty, and anyone who work with her, you will always see them decked down. You always see them looking beautiful. You never see like it. Wow, I have to talk about this in another video because I don't want to run out of time. I want to talk more about the doll things. So protection dolls, traditionally black, brown, or white fabric. So basically you will pick the fabric that best match the work that you're trying to do. So for like passion, you would use red fabric. For beauty, you would use pink, white, you know, the things that remind you of that particular thing. So yeah, so in traditionally black, brown, and white fabric, filled with protection herbs like basil, rue, garlic, or bay leaves. Acts as a spiritual shield, keeping negative energy or enemies away. Can be buried, hung above the door, or buried by the home for protection. So that's for protection doll. Prosperity doll, colors green, gold, or yellow, which are colors that represents prosperity, just like you would use those colors for the candles whenever you're charging the doll. So it says stuffed with herbs such as mint, basil, cinnamon, or lodestone. The lodestone is like a magnet stone that you bring together so you can attract. So you know how a magnet pulls things in? That's what it would do when it comes to pulling prosperity, pulling luck to you or to the person that's linked to the doll. Use in money drawing rituals, business blessings, or to open opportunities. Anoint with fast luck oil, wealthy oil, and place near cash or business documents. Justice or return to sender dolls. Natural or dark colors for those things. Use when someone has wronged you, not to harm them, but to send their negative energy back to them. Often combined with mirror, reversal candles, or psalms for divine justice. Ancestral or spiritual dolls. Dressed in white, symbolize purity and connection. Used to use as a vessel for honoring your ancestors. Feed with offering like rum, coffee, or tobacco, just like I said. Place on an altar to help bridge communication between the living and the dead. So those things you would feed them or charge them on El Dia de los Muertos because of the days of the dead and all that good stuff. So there are multiple things that you could do and how you can learn more about dolls, but this is my take on it. Hey guys, I'm Jenny and this is Shameless Plug. So I want to tell you guys about my Crown of Success manifestation book with easy, simple rituals and spells to manifest a life of abundance in your life. And those spells are so easy, even a child can do it. So this book is filled with different spells that I've learned over the years from my family, passed down from grandma and everything. And also those are spells that I've actually tried and I know that they work. So this book not only teaches you step by step on the things that you can do that are so easy that a child can do it, but it tells you like the proper moon phase to use, alchemy, manifesting with numbers, numerology, and also the days of the week that best fit for this particular spell. So it tells you the timing of when to practice the spell, the days of the week, the moon phase. It shows you all the colors of the candles that you should be using and different planets. So for example, I show you like planet Jupiter is for Thursdays and the hours of the days that you should be doing the spell. So this is an easy road opener spell. So I know a lot of people like to do like different spell work, but if your roads are blocked, of course your spells are not going to work. So it's good to unblock yourself first and then start using the spell, especially with the new years and the new days to come. And also I have some amazing spells in here. This is a powerful quick money spell. So if you're in a bind for some money and you're just trying to get some money, and I even have some easy powerful spell to win game of chance. So if you are a gambler, now I don't promote gambling, but if you are a gambler and you're just trying to make some money and trying to make sure you win, these spells will definitely help you. It tells you the best days to do it. So it says the best days to perform this spell is on a Thursday, Jupiter day. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, luck, and expansion. Jupiter is the best day to perform spells that boost luck and increase your chance of success in any game of chance or any money spell, period. It has a list of so many spells that you can incorporate in your life with this new year to bring prosperity. And I even put some bonus spells on here, which for Saturday is a day to do like protection work. So I have a spell for like send back to sender. So I put some bonus spells on here, and then a protection with Archangel Michael. So there's so many spells on here. Removing the evil eye spell, so you can remove evil eye in your money and also in your everyday life. New Year home blessing spell, and I know it's been a few days since the new year started, but you can always do a home blessing spell any days of the week. As long as you need it, you could do it. So anyways, guys, this is my book. It's called Crown of Success by Jenny, and it's available on Amazon, the ebook and also the physical copying. So please grab a copy if you're interested in supporting this channel. This is a way to support the channel and to support me as well for putting out, content every day for you guys. So enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this book, and I hope you go and grab your copy, whether it's the ebook or the physical copy. I say have a physical copy, but it's really up to how much, your wallet and what you can afford. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Mwah. This is a shameless plug, so just check out my channel, okay? Love you guys. Mwah.